very, very simply, it's a loan, and it's kind of passed in the terms of selling something as opposed to sort of borrowing money. What you're selling is you're selling that piece of paper, that promise to pay the money back in the future. But
Perfect.
Just think of it exactly the same as a mortgage, right? You're borrowing money, you're going to pay it back over time with interest to an investor.
Got it. And the school bonds, they're used for construction projects, mostly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. School bonds, I mean, there's all sorts of things they're used for. These days, they're primarily used to just stop schools from falling apart, right?
Yeah.
School districts don't have enough money to do that. They spend all of their money basically on salaries and wages, doesn't leave anything left over. So what they do is they go out and they borrow all this money so that they can sort of stop schools from everything else, any classrooms, science labs, sports fields, everything like that, usually these days gets paid for by borrowed money, by bond money.
Perfect. So who is paying for the one more thing. In order to agree to the bond, voters have to approve it.
Well, that's the one missing part of this, right? So when you borrow money, you have to pay it back, right? And when a school district borrows money, what they're essentially saying is that when you borrow a bond, what you do is you put everybody's taxes up, right? Everybody who lives within the school district gets a very small increase to their taxes every year. They have to pay more property tax each year. And it's that money, it's that extra money that everybody pays that goes towards paying off that loan, right? That's like, that's your money that you make your credit card payments with, basically, right? So you can't just do that, right? You can't just put people's taxes up without asking them if that's okay. So in California, you have to hold an election, and you have to get more than 55% of the people that live within the school district to vote and say, that's all right, you can put my taxes up a little bit so that you can go out and borrow all this money.
Perfect. Now, it's difficult to do that. It costs a lot of money to do that campaign. So this brings us full circle. So who's paying for this campaign?
Essentially, I mean, most of the money is coming from the people who get money once that get contracts and get money once the bond is passed. So, companies like construction companies. A lot of political money in this too, Mike, we should say. I mean, a lot of, political action stuff and, sort of political action groups that represent large construction companies. Labor unions, obviously are very interested in making sure that there are big, construction projects going on in town, so they put a lot of money into this. But what we focused in on was the private companies, right? So individual private companies that do bond stuff, right? That either are in the business of buying